Hello, everyone. Welcome to a new meetup online with me, David. We are going to talk about why companies are buying Bitcoin. It's a great day for Bitcoin. Prices going up. It's approaching 14K, and well, it seems to be like very bullish times, and some people are starting talking about probably getting 20K by the end of the year and so on. But and this is obviously related to the FOMO that is being created with some people that we will talk about right now in this presentation. Okay, so today's agenda is the title "Why Companies Are Buying Bitcoin." First, we're going to have like introduction of several factors that may be helping companies to take those decisions to invest in cryptocurrency, mostly Bitcoin, and we'll see why. And we'll see some companies that they have invested already. Some of them like the most well-known companies, let's say. So we'll see Grayscale, MicroStrategy, Square, Mode, which is a UK company, PayPal, JP Morgan as well, and others. So we will talk about other companies and other people that are influencing these decisions, and then we will end up with two slides about conclusions. But before that, please, if you can just hit the like button so I can see that it's working and you can hear me and everything. Just gonna check now how. Live streaming. So I just gonna open a window so I can see also the stream. Sorry for that. Just double checking. I don't want to be just talking to myself. And if you haven't subscribed, please do so as well. Okay. Just okay. Let's see 3 people. Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. So let's keep going then. Okay, so as you can see, then public companies are adopting Bitcoin as a reserve asset, and this is very related to what is happening in the last few months, which we'll see as well. And so we and they are starting to see broad institutional interest in Bitcoin because it's seen as an edge against more traditional investments. You think about investments nowadays, they are kind of difficult to find something. It is kind of difficult to find something that is going to be a safe investment, and knowing that you can just I don't know, sell it, and to have liquidity. Liquidity is very important part of it because, for example, when there's a crisis, people try to have, there is a set about the fiat currency or the money itself as being the king, and this is because it will allow, it's the more liquid asset, and is allows you to buy whatever you need to buy at the time. So, and that's a fact, and that's why we go back to March. We'll see, you'll see the prices of Bitcoin, but also the price of stock market and many other assets, they all went down because people wanted to get liquidity, to have cash, let's say. But after a while, what happens is this cash is losing value. So you cannot really have a lot of it. It's good to have always and have enough for a period of time, but if you make liquid everything that you have, or most of it, you will lose purchasing power in the future. Like, especially if you live in a country like with high inflation or hyperinflation. But even in a regular country like US or Europe, you lose value. The money, the fiat currency that you have loses value, especially if the central banks are printing more and more money. And so you buy a house, for example, is great, but it's difficult to sell it afterwards unless you lose a lot of money on the process. So when everybody needs liquidity, it's hard to sell a house, for example, or a piece of land, and that's why, And you see a possible safe haven for investors. This is seen as, and Bitcoin is seen together with gold and other things, not only Bitcoin, but obviously we're talking about Bitcoin now. It's seen as central banks around the world seem to be printing endless amount of money. There's an important fact here, is Bitcoin will be only 21 million Bitcoins minted, and that's a regular process that's happening every 10 minutes, approximately every 10 minutes, but as an average it's going to be 10 minutes always. And there are a number of Bitcoins being printed or being created every 10 minutes, and that process ends in 2140, in the year 2140. And also the supply is going to be reduced by half every 4 years, which make it more appealing for long-term investment. And many people that didn't think about money before, now they think more about it, because let's say we are living in a somewhat an experiment. The fiat currency we know is not based on anything, but it used to be, let's say, backed by gold, but that ended in 1971 actually, and at that year Nixon stopped the conversion from dollars to gold, because pretty much they printed too much, and some countries realized about this, so they wanted to get the gold back. And he saw this, that as obviously they didn't have enough gold for everyone, so they stopped it. In theory, it was a temporal solution for this problem, but it became it never went back to gold, and that's pretty much what happens. And since we have 50 years of an experiment that somewhat has been working, but now it's the first time that this helicopter money is being done, and there is negative rates now. There are few things happening in the world that some people that never thought about how money is made, or how money is created, how money works. Now they are kind of curious, and they start learning about it and so on. At the same time, companies have more knowledge about how money is created and money supply and all this, and that's why some companies have decided to start investing in Bitcoin, because nobody can create more in the future. They know how many there are, how many there will be, and they cannot influence the supply, and therefore is is something that they can calculate the future supply, and it's not going to be like a surprise. Um, Whatever they will hold, it will keep the value or increase it probably if there is more adoption. So one of the things that Michael Saylor said about fiat currency is that it's like a melting ice, and because you may need ice right now, and you will want to have it, but you don't want to keep it because it loses volume. It loses. It kind of gets smaller and smaller, and eventually it disappears. And this is what happened with money. So you happen to have I don't know, certain amount of money 10 years ago, today is not exactly the same. You cannot buy the same things with this, and this is why. So today's this is something I saw in the news, and also I wanted to add it. And some people or starting, obviously because the price is going up in the last few days, you will see more news like this. But it's like 1 trillion is a conservative market cap for Bitcoin, said investment CEO. So he believes it could happen if mainstream companies put just 1% of their holdings into the market. Okay, so only 1% of the holdings put in on Bitcoin will make Bitcoin being a 1 trillion market cap. Here there are some holdings by public trade companies, and you can see here the Grayscale is the biggest holder by far, and then there are a few others. And in third place in this list, because they are different lists with different, and maybe they are not up to date and so on. So, but just to have an idea, in here you see MicroStrategy, which is we'll talk about later on, Square as well, and some others. But Grayscale is the biggest one. So let's talk about Grayscale. Only the last 2 weeks ago, not only just in 1 week, 2 weeks ago, they added more than 15,000 Bitcoins to their portfolio. So they bought new 15K Bitcoins. So, and that's very important because it's more than double the new mines Bitcoin during that period of time, or the new created Bitcoins during that period of time, because there is approximately, there is 6,300 Bitcoins created by every week in 7 days. So it's about 900 per day now. So they bought more than double that. And that is important, and that's why we are seeing the price going up. And it's mostly because the supply is very small, to be honest. It's not large at all. The supply, it comes from two sources. One will be obviously the new created Bitcoins, which are 6.25 every 10 minutes, or 900 per day approximately. And also whoever wants to sell, obviously. And the expectation is that the price is going to go up, and it's almost certain that the price is going to go up from now to maybe the end of next year, or in 2 years' time. It's going to be, the price is supposed to be way more than now. And because of that, not many people are willing to sell unless they're trading, and they are kind of selling in a range which are obviously price fluctuates, and some people are willing to buy and sell and get a small extra in every trade. And those are the ones that are really selling, because even some miners are keeping it. And right now, according to some sources, right now mining is more expensive. So to mine a Bitcoin is more expensive than the current price, or at least it was at 12K. Now it's nearly 40K. So at one point has to be at least break even, but obviously it has to be more. In order to run a business, you need to you need to be able, as a miner, you need to be able to make profit and to sell more expensive than what it costs you to make it. That's obviously normal. So many miners are keeping their bitcoins, not selling until the price goes up. So it's very short supply available for being bought by companies, by anyone, and that's why we see in the last few days the price going up. So okay, well, this company is Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. It's a digital currency investment product that individual investors can buy and sell in their own brokerage account. So in January 21st of January 2020, it became a SEC reporting company and is the first digital currency investment vehicle to obtain the status of a reporting company by the SEC. And what they do pretty much is they buy cryptocurrency, not only Bitcoin, and they sell shares. So people who want to have some connection to Bitcoin without buying Bitcoin themselves can invest in this fund, and but it's more expensive. The only thing is kind of safer because for institutions this is the way they like to act, to invest. Let's talk about MicroStrategy. This Michael Saylor is a very interesting guy, to be honest, and I've seen many interviews and hear some podcasts, and he is now completely, let's say, he's very fan of Bitcoin, let's say. So he's very kind of promoting Bitcoin right now, talking to many people, and it keeps very good. It's very intelligent person as well. You can see that he has 2 or 3 degrees. He studied many things, and he created this company actually when he was very young, and he made very good money. So at one point he was saying that he has a pile of cash in the bank, and because what we already talked about somewhat about the central banks printing new money and so on, he thought that it was a good idea to invest in Bitcoin. So he decided to make Bitcoin its primary treasure reserve asset, and he purchased a total of 38k of Bitcoin in August and September. So in total, he spent more than $400 million. Here's a tweet from him explaining a little bit how it was done. So it was like automated transactions, some of them offline, some of them online, and in order to keep the price down, so they didn't want to buy a lot together. So it was like a microtransactions until he managed to buy those. And you can see interesting thing about this is 48 minutes, probably 1 hour ago, and I saw this tweet also very interesting. And you can see the profits of the company versus the profit of the Bitcoin because the price went up. So today's price of Bitcoin, calculating the Bitcoins they bought, they actually have more profit just for holding the Bitcoins than the net income. As you can see, it's mad. It's just, but it's because this company is one of the first one and that started doing this, and this is we'll see that in the conclusions as well. Well, it's a business intelligence company, mobile software as well, and cloud-based services. Compete with SAP and other similar companies. You can see he bought Bitcoin 2 times. The first batch was in August, and then more recently the rest. And some people say this company kind of became an undercover ETF because ETFs have not been approved yet, but actually because one of the biggest holding of this company is Bitcoin. If you buy shares of the company, you actually are investing in Bitcoin as well. So some people are actually buying also shares of the company just to have exposure to Bitcoin. He says they are not going to dump the price. They are not thinking to sell at all. They are going to hold it for at least 100 years, and that's the idea. Obviously, he's not going to live 100 years more, but he's going to. The plan is to keep the company going and to have these holdings for years and years. Michael has been very vocal advocate of Bitcoin. As I said, there are a lot of interviews, and there is also a specific link about Bitcoin in their company's website. So MicroStrategy dot I just buy, I think it's microstrategy.com/Bitcoin or something like that, and you will see there. If you Google, you will find it, but you will see a lot of podcasts, interviews, and more resources to learn about it. So it's good because it's paving the way for other companies to really learn and follow. I mentioned this. One of the phrases that he says is Bitcoin is both an energy storage system and a network energy in time and space. This is related to, for example, the idea is, say that you have a place very far away where you can generate electricity, but you cannot transport it because electricity needs to be consumed near the source. You cannot really just go and it's not easy to transport. The only way to transport is having a thick cable or having batteries. So you have to spend a lot of money on either cable or batteries or both. Now, what you can do as well is to mine Bitcoin using that energy that otherwise will be lost, and that will storage that energy. Because, for example, let's say that you are living in Siberia. There is no any cities around there, but it's a way to generate electricity. What you could do is to mine Bitcoin, and those, whatever, let's say 3 or 4 Bitcoins, you could just get those and spend them somewhere else where there is energy being generated. For example, say nuclear power in France. They have a lot of nuclear stations and generators. So yeah, you could spend that money and buy back the energy. So it's kind of and you can store using space, but also time. So you don't need to spend it at the same time, obviously. So that's a very interesting point of view. And there's a typo here. But the idea is, he says that at least is 100 times better than gold. He said probably even 1,000 is way better than gold in some areas. For example, one of the area will be transport. Say you want to transport $1 million US from one place to another in the world. You need to take a plane and everything. If you are moving Bitcoin, you don't even need to fly yourself. Let's say you don't need to go to that place. You could just send an email or something, or somewhat. There are other ways to do that, obviously safer than sending an email, but it's just the idea, because by using internet you can bring your Bitcoin and transfer the Bitcoin to wherever you want to. Now, with gold is very different. With gold, you have to pay a security system service, which is very expensive. Maybe I don't know. It's very heavy as well. So there are a lot of inconvenience. So in that regards, obviously Bitcoin will be better, safer, quicker, and cheaper as well. Another, there are many other things, like for example, you cannot transfer, you want to transfer money using a bank account, you can only transfer money during working hours, because the bank will not open for you, obviously. But Bitcoin is 24/7. That's another benefit. So there are many other benefits, but yeah, just um, I recommend you to at least check one of the podcasts from what Bitcoin did. Um, that is interviewing Michael Saylor, and that will, it's very interesting. It's like very, very interesting, honestly. And well, I learned and I was convinced about the potential of Bitcoin after reading the Bitcoin Standard, and it's a book by Sefedin Amos, or something like that. and taking advantage of this, the Bitcoin Standard is really interesting book. I strongly recommend you to read it. And if you don't have time to read it, what we can do is you could watch our video, or a live event that we are going to run soon. And is we're going to be having different episodes, different chapters, and talking about the chapters of the book. So I'm going to be explaining the book itself, and it's probably, you will save a lot of time. You need to buy the book, but I strongly recommend you to buy the book anyway. It's very good. The first episodes or chapters are about the money creation. It's not about Bitcoin at all, and they talk about all type of money and what happened with them, easy money, hard money, and many other interesting things. But it's all about money. But this, I believe there's a lot to learn from this, and it's good to, it's something that you don't normally learn on, in traditional university, traditional education, university, schools, and so on. Unfortunately, and it should be really, really part of the syllabus. That's for sure. And many people make mistakes just for not knowing all these things. So, if you want to know more about this, just drop me an email, send me a message, because this is from another meetup group that I have, more about reading and learning and also trading. So a smaller group, 260 people instead of 1,800. By the way, thank you for being part of this big group. It's really, really big. It's 1,803 or 4 today, last time I checked. So it's very, very big. And probably now more people will be joining, because good times are ahead. Finger crossed. Okay, let's talk about another company, Square. Square is a very well-known company. It's a financial service company. It's led by Twitter co-founder and CEO Jack Dorsey. Jack Dorsey also very active on Twitter, and talk about Bitcoin very often, and so on. This company has this Cash App, which is it's very it's a big app with a lot of customers, and started allowing to buy and sell Bitcoin since 2018. So it's not new. But in August, the company reported that Bitcoin trading revenue. Okay, well, this is the revenue for Cash App, rose 600% from the previous year to $875 million US. But now the cryptocurrency also, the cryptocurrency also accounted for almost half of the Square's total sales. They have spent 50 million US dollars in Bitcoin recently. Okay, and so this is another company investing in Bitcoin, and it's more likely to keep buying as well. Okay, it's here. Yeah, they bought 50 million US dollars worth of Bitcoin at around 10,500 per Bitcoin. That means that today is probably they have a profit of 40% approximately, because the price of Bitcoin today is 13,600, something like that, and probably between today and tomorrow, probably more tomorrow, or let's say for the rest of the week, easy to reach 14K, which is really good profit. And this is what they said: we believe that Bitcoin has the potential to be a more ubiquitous currency in the future. That was Square's chief financial officer. Another company, probably this is not as known by many, but it's a UK company called Mode, and this company converted their 10% of the holding cash reserve into Bitcoin. And what they said is the fintech group, okay, say they converted this reserves because it's part of that of a long-term strategy to protect investors' assets from currency debasement. Also, they said that faced with the challenge of COVID and with UK interest rates at the lowest level in the Bank of England in their 326-year history, our confidence in the long-term value of Bitcoin has only increased. So, very bullish. PayPal, obviously, I hope you heard about this, but PayPal also has entered the cryptocurrency market, announcing that its customer will be able to buy and sell Bitcoins and other virtual currencies using their PayPal account. So, in theory, at the beginning, it's going to be only four coins, cryptocurrencies. One is Bitcoin, one is Litecoin, the other one is Bitcoin Cash, and the other one, to be honest, don't remember right now. But there are rumors as well that they are making their own cryptocurrency, and one of the things is that they will kind of buy and sell, but it's kind of virtually. So you will not be able to hold them or to send them to your wallet. So you will have to have them with them. Just to clarify this. But think about PayPal is very, very big company, and they have a lot of users. They have 346 million active accounts and 26 million sellers accepting that they will accept cryptocurrency payments. And the plans are to roll out buying options in the US over the next few weeks, and at the beginning of the new year next year 2021, there will be a full rollout in the entire world. So it's huge. Also, PayPal, I believe there's some news about they created a company, or they bought a company in China, and they have 75% of the company, only because the Chinese government don't usually allow to own a company fully, and they always need to be a shareholder. Curiously, it doesn't happen with Tesla. Tesla is I believe, the only company in China that is 100% private. But anyway, I may be wrong. But PayPal is also in China, and they have. So let's see what is happening, what's going to happen, if they're going to be allowed to buy and sell cryptocurrency in China, because that will be a big deal. So just to mention about PayPal as well, just a small detail, a small thing. PayPal years ago, they actually kind of promoted cryptocurrency or Bitcoin. That was only Bitcoin. And the funny thing is, this is because they kind of closed the account of WikiLeaks. So WikiLeaks at the time, there was a huge controversy because WikiLeaks published something, and this is all related to Assange and what's happening to him right now. But at the time, the Visa, MasterCard, PayPal, and also Amazon closed their accounts, and in fact, WikiLeaks had to move the servers, the web servers, somewhere else because Amazon closed their accounts. So they were forced to receive payments in Bitcoin because it was the only thing that could not be closed for them. So, and people started learning about Bitcoin because of that. Maybe it's about publicity, but it was publicity nevertheless. And some people started learning about Bitcoin because of that, because they could not be stopped, those payments. And so, okay, and now they are joining Bitcoin. It's funny. Now, JP Morgan, that's another funny story, is that back in 2017, Jamie Dimon said that Bitcoin is a fraud, and will eventually blow up. They also said that if they catch people using them or kind of promoting them within the company, they will fire those people. And 2 years later, 3 years later, he's now saying that has considerable upside in the long term, and as it better competes with gold as an alternative currency. So you see also here the other tweet, JP Morgan analyst could triple in value and challenge gold, And indeed, it's a matter of time. Obviously, new generations are totally digital, and for most of them, gold doesn't make any sense. It's just a piece of metal, and there has to be a store. You have to spend a lot of money to keep it there. And so, yeah, probably it makes sense. More people or companies. Stone Right Asset Management joins MicroStrategy, and Square holds. So another company joining. Paul Tudor Jones said that Bitcoin is like investing early in Apple or Google. So there's a lot of potential for the upside. And said that he likes Bitcoin even more than he did then, referring to May in an interview. And that was when the initial investment happened from him. And he priced Bitcoin in CNBC, and revealing that he holds a small single-digit investment in the asset. So he didn't reveal how much. But Ron Paul, he did reveal that he is over 50% in Bitcoin. So his personal asset management, like investment, is more than 50% in Bitcoin. And both, like Paul Tudor Jones and Ron Paul, they are really, really famous. And many people really have, let's say, very good image of them. They are kind of people to be followed by investors, and so when they say these things, it's like many people listen. And he, which is highly surprising, he expected to see Bitcoin in $1 million US dollar in the coming years. Obviously, we don't know when, but if there is a lot of adoption, it's a matter of time. If it continues this pace. So, in conclusion, in general, buying Bitcoin means protecting your wealth from monetary inflation of the US dollar and euro. Hard money always wins. Hard money is something that you can. It's difficult to create new one. So it's something that, for example, gold is hard money as well. Easy money tends to destroy wealth. Easy money is what is easy to make. For example, a piece of paper is easy to be printed. So governments can print, or nowadays digitally can enter 000. They can create new money, and when they can do it so easily, sooner or later they do, and that means that whatever you hold loses value. And unfortunately, this is happening all the time. The average life of currency, I believe, is 20-something years. So sooner or later, probably the euro or the US dollar, they will have to be replaced by something else. Anyway, central banks are working on digital currencies as well. Okay, technological advances or superiority in the past made previous money become easy money, and wealth shifts. This is actually very important, and this is from the book that we mentioned before. And when there's a new technological advantage and it's superior money or new money, if it's better, obviously, if it makes the previous money, not necessarily, but in general, it makes the previous money an easy money. For example, let's talk about, I don't know, there was some kind of glass natural glass used in Africa as a monetary system, or shells. All these things they had a price. They were adopted as a money in the past. But what happened is, for example, Europeans arrived to Africa, saw that they were using glass, and from that point they say, okay, so we can get real value stuff by creating this glass in Europe, which is very cheap to make, and bringing it here and buy real assets like land, like mostly land and other things, And what happened is that they made locals poor, and they took wealth from them. The similar here will be maybe fiat currencies, fiat money like euros, and especially because it's been printed a lot, so there are a lot of that is already easy money. But if you have hard money like bitcoins or gold, with that, currently you can buy bitcoins with easy money. But if you look at the price, usually in the last few months, the price of Bitcoin is going up. Also, the stock market is going up. Why? It's not because there's more wealth in the world. It's actually because there's more fiat currency flowing to the markets. So what before was, let's say, Tesla share was, let's say, 400 euro or US dollars, it became 2,000 in very short time. It became 2,000. Now if you look at the price now, is 400 or so, but it's because there was split into 5 parts. So 5 of today's shares is one of the old share. So, and they are 400 US dollars. So that means around 2,000, more than 2,000 a past share. And 1 year ago, it was I would say less than 400. So anyway, that's a little sample, but you can see that money tends to go, or wealth. If you want to keep wealth, you need to have hard money, because otherwise, over time, you get less and less purchasing power. Now, I wanted to also talk about Bitcoin versus altcoins. We all The companies we saw earlier, most of them are only buying Bitcoin, not altcoins. Grayscale is different, but the other ones are only buying Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is taken as a store of value by the company in long term. So they believe that Bitcoin is the one, okay, that is gonna keep safe the purchasing power, and if they are lucky enough, it's actually going to increase. And that means that maybe altcoins are not going to rise in price as much as we saw in the previous bull run, which is like back in 2017. Something to take into account. Nevertheless, there are some altcoins that will go up a lot, and probably more than Bitcoin itself. But also, if you look at long term, you cannot be sure that they're gonna last as long as a Bitcoin. That's the main thing. So it's kind of, Bitcoin will probably the price of Bitcoin will go up less, but it will hold the value for longer. And a personal note that I believe is true is that Bitcoin will never see 10K anymore, and probably even 12K. That's too risky to say, but 10K is very, very likely. We may see it for a very short period of time, very, very short period of time, but what we are seeing in the market, the demand that there is and the supply that is very, very low, makes me think that 10K is almost impossible. Obviously, 8K and all this is just a dream. It could be great, but my honest opinion is 10K is no longer in the future. And another thing is, if you think about Bitcoin in the past was linked to illegal activities, Silk Road, hacking, and this is changing a lot. Some companies, especially because of the pandemic again, they really are having a different opinion about Bitcoin. And initially, no one wanted to be the first, because it was going to be, seen as, what are they doing? They're wasting their money. Even shareholders could be criticizing this activity, and may not allow this to happen. But now it's a different story, and the early bird catches the worm. In terms of, new, the ones that are doing it now or before, like we saw with MicroStrategy, they really are making. They're gonna make a lot of money just for being one of the first ones, because they got better price by far. Okay, so they were brave enough to say, look, we have this amount of money in the bank account, we are losing power, we are kind of losing the money, to be honest. So we are going to buy Bitcoin. We trust and that this is the future, and we are going to do it. So this is, you have to be very brave to do that. But if you are right, you really are going to make, as we saw, that the profit from just the Bitcoin itself is higher than the profit of the company as a whole. And the reaction of the pandemic has, by the central banks and by the way we act since, has also helped, because we are talking about internet money. So we moved to online activities. For example, how many people are using, Skype and WhatsApp and all this more often? And it's mostly because even courses online. Schools in many places don't open, so it's more. We are moving more into the online world, and that obviously is perfect for this type of currency. The US created 22% of all US dollars created since the birth of the nation. See, because of the as a reaction, because of in the last year, let's say from March. So that is a lot. US printed more money in 1 month than in 2 centuries, but they keep printing more. And so the paradigm has shifted, and or at least it's changing. So there's still many people believe that the Bitcoin is a scam and so on. But those are the laggards, and they're gonna be somewhat punished by not adopting it on time. And to the point that it will be irresponsible not to have some exposure to it. So, for example, let's say you are rich and you go to a professional advisor. Not many of them will tell you, why don't you buy also Bitcoin or buy some cryptocurrencies? They will tell you to invest in other things, stock market and other things. But some of them start telling you, why don't you put 1% or 2% or 3% or whatever into Bitcoin? Because if you lose it all, it's 1% or 2%, but the potential of increasing in value, is very high, and why not? It's worth the risk. So it will be at one point irresponsible not to have exposure, have some percentage of your wealth on Bitcoin at least. Okay. So guys, that's all. Thank you very much for your time and for being there. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, please thumb up. And if you want to comment or tell me something, please try writing on the comments on the chat. And if not, that is going to be the end. One thing, thank you, Eric. If you happen to have some Bitcoin and you are, thanks, I appreciate that. So I check on the description that I have some referrals, and that is in case you are thinking about holding, you hold some Bitcoins already, and or even other cryptocurrencies. What you can do is if you don't have an account, you can open the account, because those referrals, obviously it doesn't cost you any money, but at the same time, if you are thinking about opening an account with those companies, I do have an account and I do use them, and because of that, I recommend them. And so some are better than others. For example, Lend.io is not very well known, but it's actually a very good company. They are in Canada. They work with the biggest companies in crypto, and they are fully insured. They give one of the highest percentage in Bitcoin. For example, they give 6.5% yearly. So it's great, because if you have some Bitcoin that you want to sell in the future, what you can do is having in there, because you get 6.5% extra of Bitcoins per year, which is great. And stable coins as well, they have 11.7. So it's huge, because a bank doesn't give you anything today. You have also other companies, hodling out, and Crypto.com, they have a Visa card, but in the last few months, they have been changing many things I'm still using them. The Visa card is great, but I don't know. If you want to stake Bitcoins or Ethereum or something similar, stable coins, Lend .io and maybe Celsius as well, and both are really good. And I think you get some money if you use my referral as well. Thanks, David. Was Tom Bayes currently becoming prediction? To be honest, I haven't watched any Tom Bayes video currently, for several reasons. One is they are very long always, that is more than 1 hour, but also because he's not posting videos regularly as in the past. So every now and then, I believe yesterday he posted one, and I'm not sure. Tom Bates is very, very focused on Bitcoin. He doesn't like anything else than Bitcoin. And I think you have to be more open-minded, because Bitcoin is Bitcoin, okay? We all agree. But Ethereum, for example, is programmable. You can program. For example, you can have something like decentralized exchanges with Bitcoin. Or you do, it's not as simple, and it's more expensive because of transactions. But Uniswap, for example, in Ethereum, I know that I was criticizing it last time, but now it's cheaper. So Uniswap is great, and probably in Cardano there will be something similar, way cheaper. So keep an eye on Cardano, because I believe Cardano has a lot of. I mean, I'm following Cardano since 2017, and I think they are doing well, but they will do very well once the smart contracts are enabled and so on. And other like Chainlink is, the potential is huge. I heard people talking about Chainlink becoming 1,000 per coin. I think that's a lot, but right now is, I don't know, 12 US dollars. So the potential is huge. I believe 40 US dollars is within the next few months is plausible, very plausible. Ethereum can be 2K as well. So some coins will do very well. And if you are just close and you say only Bitcoin, to be honest, Bitcoin doesn't update so often, and that's a good thing. But it's also not as good, because you are allowing other people to. You are leaving an empty space where another coin will take over, or you need a second layer. And when you have a second layer, it's not actually Bitcoin anymore, to be honest, because Lightning Network has a lot of potential. But I heard about Lightning Network for years, and still really there's no adoption, and it's still in beta. And the fact that you need to top up to have the Bitcoin move to the other to the Lightning Network, I don't think is a good thing, because when Bitcoin rises in price and the network is being used, the price of transactions are huge. So every time you top up, you will lose a lot of money. So that will work for people who have a lot of Bitcoins, but not for general people. So I think that's not good, honestly. So you have to see the pros and cons. Bitcoin is great for having a lot of money, and let's say I'm paying for something that is expensive. If you're buying a house, you don't care about spending 50 or 60 US dollars in a transaction, obviously, or buying an expensive car. But if you want to transact in like buying coffees and all this with Bitcoin, is not possible, obviously. But also, I don't think it's going to be possible using also the Lightning Network. So you are promoting third parties to be involved. For example, PayPal. If you get PayPal, just seeing the question, I will answer later on. Thank you, Eric. So you see PayPal, for example, they will kind of transact with virtual Bitcoins, but because it's their internal database, they really are not spending money. They are not going to do any expenses. They're not going to spend money into the blockchain itself. So it's kind of, you will transact with the value of a Bitcoin, but it's not a real Bitcoin. So this is like a bank. It's at the end of the day, it's the same thing. Okay. Now, PayPal is good for adoption because many people will know about Bitcoin. Okay. Anyway, also there are other third parties or second layers which are like liquid. At the end, it's just another coin that you. It's like a wrap Bitcoin into the Ethereum network. It's the same thing. Anyway, let's see, Eric. What do you think about the DeFi space? Ethereum being used to wrap up. Oh, okay. I just mentioned this BTC, but it's funny because my about wrapping BTC is good because the idea behind is great because you can just grab a BTC and then use smart contracts, and you can kind of transact. You can do, for example, as we mentioned in Uniswap, you can buy grab Bitcoins and then convert them back into Bitcoin, real Bitcoins. Now, the funny thing is that the Ethereum network, the value of the entire network is lower than the network of Bitcoin. And you may end up having more value grab. I mean, you may have more in virtual Bitcoins than the real Ethereum, the whole network of Ethereum. So the security of the blockchain in Ethereum is lower than the Bitcoin network. And probably in the future with the Ethereum 2.0, which is not anymore, it's not going to be mining, it's going to be staking. We have to see how secure it's going to be. Hopefully it's going to be very secure, but we don't know that, and it can be maybe hacked or something. We will know in the future, but we don't know right now. So, but the idea behind is great, and DeFi is great. Is the DeFi space is really, really good. My point, I have some kind of things that can be improved. For example, security in terms of privacy. Sorry, privacy is a big deal because if you use again Uniswap or any other smart contract, it's visible. People can see that. And most people use only one address. That's not very good because you think about, you can track every single transaction being made by, you can point to the person. For example, let's say you are buying and selling on Uniswap, you buy a coin that the price is gonna go up, and then 1 or 2 weeks later you are right and it goes up, and then with that coin you sell a portion and sell into US into stable coins, into other coins, and you cannot trade. And then finally you send some of the coins to one of these exchanges. So pretty much they can look into your story, into your transactions, and they can see everything, and that's not good. For example, Bitcoin, usually you use different addresses for different transactions, and Ethereum, unfortunately, it's not happening because of DeFi and because of the wallets don't really either allow to happen, or they don't make it easy to just to have different addresses every time you send and receive. So that's a big problem, honestly. And the last thing I wanted to mention is that yesterday was the biggest transaction in history of Bitcoin. The biggest one. Like I don't remember the amount of Bitcoins, the amount of the money, but never been the worth of the transaction is billions. Now, the cost of the transaction was less than $4 US. So it's just incredible. So the biggest transaction, the largest transaction in history. That's why the price dropped yesterday, for a few hours, and it's because people were fearful of that transaction being linked to a future sell or dumping price. So they actually people were like very worried that whoever owns this amount of Bitcoin were going to sell it. So far, hasn't been sold, and probably was, I don't know, it's a big whale, and I don't know, maybe I don't know what happened, obviously, but the cost was less than $4 for that such amount of money. It's incredible. So okay, guys, I think call the day. Thank you very much for your time, and as I said, you want to learn about the book. Is really, I think it's gonna be nice. I'm trying to make it in different ways. It's not going to be like a presentation. It's going to be more like the cartoon. Looking into that, and it's taking me a long time to create the script and so on. I hope you enjoy it. And but again, it's another group, so I will, but it's gonna be in this channel. So subscribe to the channel, please, if you haven't done so. We are only 41 subscribers. We're a small group, but hopefully the meta group is 1,800 people. So I'm gonna start promoting it more and having more activities. Another thing that I want to do is to do like a hangout online, like talking about, like, as a group, talking to each other, and you know, doing like socializing, and not only me talking. So that will be just talking about the news of the day or the news of the week, and just having a chat together, maybe using Zoom or something else. I need to see. If you want to recommend me some software or something, please do, because I have some options, but I think I have Zoom anyway, but Zoom is the free version, so I don't have a paid version like Tonebase. So you want to contact me, you have there Twitter, Facebook. My Facebook, I don't use it, to be honest. Instagram, neither. I have an account, but I just don't use it. And WhatsApp, we have an announcement group, and Telegram is one of the most active one, I will say, but it's kind of quiet now, but it's still. You can reach me there, Telegram, and email. That will be always, the best system, and YouTube. So thank you very much, guys, again, and see you soon.